Okay, we are back here for game 5 for all the marbles, or dice in this case.
I desperately need this. I've been losing the last couple weeks. Feeling good, though.
But you won like the 5 weeks before that.
It doesn't matter.
I have mulligan to 6 again because I'm very unlucky. Probably just Michael cheating again, shuffling my deck.
I actually have not touched Ross's deck even once.
Actually, you did when I was trying to draw Dromoka's Command. And it wasn't Dromoka's Command, so clearly you're cheating.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty good 6. We finally have a Hardened Scales, so we're probably going to win.
Wow. I like my 7. It's very good.
Okay, I'll scry. And that is a good scry. And, that sort of changes things. Now it makes me want to play this. Or I could be off by a turn to pump up my things. Yeah, let's just play off by a turn. Hardened Skills. You can go.
Mountain, go.
I will play a Strand and a Servant.
Sure. Currently unclear
go.
whether we're going to be doing this into this, or if we need to do one of these things, but nice to draw it regardless. Alright, play Battlefield Forge, hanger back for 1, go.
Go to 19 and crack that for a Canopy Vista.
Not actually clear whether we certainly had the option of doing this on the last turn, but I think we need to save it. And Ross at 19 now.
I will attack for 2.
18.
Now the question is, which of these do we want to play? They're both vulnerable to roast. And they're both going to draw a removal spell out of Michael. This one possibly allows me to double spell next turn, depending on my draw. But if he only has one removal spell, this is the one we'd like to live. So I'm going to play an Avatar.
Okay.
You can go. I'll still be big enough to attack the Revile Aggregate.
Don't think I have much of an option. Gonna go ahead and roast that. But there is the question of whether I want to play this or just play one of these others and activate this. I think because we still have some lands in our hand, we can just safely go ahead and play this and pass the turn.
It's a good draw. I'm going to play... So... I think I'm going to end up playing... this one?
2 whole options.
Yeah, I have 2 cards.
Wow.
Which one do I want to play? If I play this, that will protect my next card from a Spatial Contortion, potentially. I'm a little worried about just him having another removal spell and me not really getting anywhere this turn. So once we get to the point where Michael's casting his like 4 and 5 mana spells, I am in pretty poor shape. But if I play this and he has P and Kieran, then a removal, then like another roast or something, I am not in good shape as well, unless I draw a 1 mana spell, which would be great. But I still think just getting value out of this Nissa is important as quickly as we can. I'm gonna plant, and I will attack for 2. No, I don't want to do that now.
Yeah, that seems a little dangerous.
Once with the other play, it made more sense because it protected my creature from roast. But now giving him Thopterus to pressure minus is not something I want to do, so I will pass.
Alright, I'll go ahead and level my Hangerback Walker. Draw my card. Okay, and so we have a few different options. This is a pretty good opportunity to go ahead and cast this, which would clean up the board a bit and let us pressure that Nissa, which seems pretty good. It would also let us play this card this turn which might set up this plus an activation of that plus an activation of Hangerback on the following turn. So I think I like that line. If we just attack Nissa with her Hangerback Walker, then I think Ross will just go ahead and trade off the Servant, give himself a decent-sized plant. So, yeah, I would like to go ahead and just nullify the Servant trigger.
Arc Lightning was going to be good regardless of our play.
I'll attack Nissa and play a Runes of War and Reef and pass the turn.
I am very interested in protecting this card. Could wait till I am able to do so. But in that time, Michael could just develop too big of a board for that to matter. Just go wide. So, he's already played 2 removal spells, a Roast and an Arc Lightning. I could play this on -2 my Nissa to protect against Arc Lightning or Spatial Contortion. But then I would be pretty dead to a Roast. Reality Smasher is going to be good regardless. This is tough. I think I just have to play Hydra and make a plant. Yep. If he has something, we're pretty far behind. Maybe our big mistake this game was playing the Hardened Scales in turn 1. Once we saw the Avatar, could have just played Servant into Avatar into Nissa, and Michael wouldn't have been able to really get the hanger back down before, or he would have taken a lot of damage.
Let's go ahead and start by attacking Nissa with Hangerback Walker.
Okay, I am going to block with a plant.
Okay. Play a Foundry, take a point to cast PN Kieran
2 counters on Hydra.
And then I will
You're at 17.
Activate Runes on a Thopter. Pass the turn.
Oh wow, that's going to be really big. I'm going to play Hardened Scales. This gets 2 counters. And I will play a Dromoka's Command, counter, and fight. Let's say Pia and Kieran. No, Pia and Kieran I can block with a plant if I wanted to. I'd just rather kill the flyer. So it's going to get 3 from its own trigger and then 3 from command. So another 6.
Yep.
And then I could put 3 more on it with Nissa, or I can make a plant. So you are at 17. I don't think you have any way to kill this. So I just want to kill you next turn. Right now it's an 11-11. I can make it a 14-14, which means 2 attacks would deal you 28. And you can only block 5 of it. If you have a land and plus this, that's only 7 of it. Yeah, I'm just going to minus. So, attack for 14.
Alright, I'm at 3.
You can go.
I guess Obligator or Bust, really. So, Ross is at 19. I can gain 3 life. And then put a fair amount of toughness in the way. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I would go to 6, so it'd be 16. This is a 14, then it'll be a 17 after we play a spell. So maybe that gives us an additional draw step if I did the math right. And your turn.
So you gain 3, go to 6. And then this is
7,
5,
8, 9, 10.
6, 7, 8, 10. So then you take 7.
Did I miscount? 6, 10, 11. Oh, 12, 16, 17. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I was dead either way.
Yeah.
does that just like double its size now?
No, it's other creatures you control.
Oh man.
I don't have another white source, so I'll just put on this and make a big creature.
Sure.
But so now it's 2020.
Yep. So I can gain 3 life, go to 6, put 10 in the way, and I'm dead by 3 points. So I'm dead.
I got to play Gleam.
Technically.
Yeah, and make a 1920 plant token.
The conclusion of Mono-Red Eldrazi versus Green-White Hardened Scales. Ross Merriam's on a bit of a streak now.
I am. I started playing some good decks finally, and we get some wins.
I haven't been shuffling up Jace Vryn's Prodigy as much, perhaps.
Or Reflector Mage.
Or Reflector Mage.
Maybe next week you're gonna have to switch a little bit.
Yeah, bring my A game maybe. Yeah. But yeah, like I like this Mono-Red Eldrazi deck. It's pretty cool. Like I was talking about in the deck tech and over the course of the games, it's pretty reminiscent of the Mono-Blue Eldrazi deck. A little less aggressive, a little bit more mid-range, grindy. Has a little bit more of a late game with Chandra Flamecaller. Unfortunately, the Hardened Scales deck is fairly well equipped to deal with Chandra, so maybe she didn't shine as bright as she would in a lot of other matchups. But yeah, I enjoy playing the deck. I'm going to keep working on it. I think it's sweet.
Yeah, you probably just need to tailor your removal package a little bit better to help deal with the Hardened Scales cards. I'm not sure what you can do other than just playing 4 Roast main. But it seemed like you just fell a little bit behind on the early turns. So, and Chandra often was not enough to catch you up. Whereas against decks like Vant Company or maybe even Rally, like Chandra would be enough because all their creatures are pretty small. Against Hardened Scales, like you need to be able to kill basically every big creature they play and then mop up with Chandra.
Yeah, it's mostly the presence of like Hangerback Walker alongside. I think your avatars were a little bit bigger than normal, but like Mana Gorger Hydra is a huge problem for Chandra. Even if you just have a Hangerback on 2 or 3 and you can level it up to 3 or 4, just cleaning up the board is not very good because then you just immediately kill the Chandra. So that's problematic. But yeah, it was mostly just some issues controlling the early game. You were able to get like your one big thing into play, and then it starts like the Hardened Scales deck is very good at snowballing with like Nissa, Voice of Zendikar plus Hardened Scales, or just like in game 5 you just played a absurd 20 Hydra or whatever, just like
Hydra command double Hardened Scales. It gets so big.
Yeah,
just command plus Hydra already like doubles up everything, and then Hardened Scales adds 1 to each side of it. So it just got 6 counters with 1 card.
Yeah, I think it was only in 1 turn cycle. It went from a 1/1 to a 20/20.
I think it was 2 turn cycles.
2 turn cycles, or you passed the turn and then untapped and made it a 20/20.
And then I like drew the second Hardened Scales when you made it like 3/3, and I played it, made it a 5/5 or something, and then commanded. Then it was an 11/11.
Yeah,
and then by the next turn it was a 20/20.
Just nonsense. But yeah, the Hardened Scale deck.
That's why you mulligan to Hardened Scales, because those kinds of things.
Sure, yeah, it just makes all of the cards in the deck so much more powerful.
Yeah, and now we sort of figure out, I think, what the deck should be. The go wide plan is a lot better than Protect the Queen, because you already have a decent number of moving parts and pieces that you need to assemble without a lot of card filtering. There were some lists that played 1 Oath of Nissa, and I actually did the same in Houston, but you end up boarding that card out like all the time because you really can't cut into the rest of the core of the deck. It doesn't do a ton. It doesn't dig for Hardened Scales. Well, it does dig for Nissa, which is nice. Most of the time I was casting it, I was just digging for a land. But
yeah, that's a little awkward.
That was just sort of a quirk of the games I drew it in. But you already like want to draw Hardened Scales, and then you want to curve out with creatures after it. If you need to also like have the right mana and hold up your Stubborn Denial, it's just too many pieces. And if you're not going to be able to do that consistently, then you just shouldn't have any of those types of cards in your deck, because if you don't have them in your hand and they're able to kill your creature and you draw Stubborn Denial, you're in horrible shape. But if you just draw another threat, you might be able to turn the game around again. And so the deck is actually made more resilient by having less Stubborn Denial.
Sure. A weird thing that I kind of noticed, and obviously you just played a Grand Prix in 15 rounds or whatever with the deck, it almost appears like the more you're able to actually go wide, you're going to incidentally just create something large, because if you're able to go wide, then like your avatar's going to get big, or your Mana Gorger Hydra's going to get big. It lost me for a second.
Yeah, you distract them with like a lot of the early creatures, and they spend their turns dealing with those, and you play a Hydra, and then they have to kill the Hydra, and your small creatures kill them, or they stay alive by killing your small guys, and your Hydra gets huge. Obviously, Avatar based on the ability of the card, gets bigger. And if you distract them with the small creatures, you can level your hanger back once or twice. And with the Hardened Scales, now your hanger back's 6/6.
Just the classic winning strategy of a bunch of small things and one big thing, right?
Yeah.
That's just always been good throughout Magic.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how people have done it with Thundermaw Hellkite and Stormbreath Dragon. You either ramp into them if you can with Elvish Mystic and Sylvan Carry added, or
the old Diregraph Ghoul. And
yeah, exactly. The old
Hellkite.
Black-Red Zombies deck. You sort of distract them with your little guys, and then you Falconwrath Aristocrat them.
Yeah, if you can put it, like, I even drew, Game 5 is a great example. I drew a couple removal spells, but I have to kill your other creatures, and then eventually your Mana Gorge or Hydra just took over in the span of 2 turns, and I didn't have time to draw out of it. So.
Yeah, I had 3 threats, Avatar, Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Third one stuck, and it was enough to take over the game.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed kind of showing off maybe some of the quirkier decks that are possible in the standard, but it's not just all like Collected Company and Rally the Ancestors or even Jeskai Black or Mardu Green. There's just limitless number of options of how you can customize your deck and however you want to build it.
Yeah, this is a really cool standard format right now, and as much as I'm not a huge fan of Reflector Mage because of the restrictions it places on things, there's still a ton of different options of what you can do. So it's fun to be able to explore those things. It was fun for me to be able to play Hardened Scales and actually win with it.
Yep, second time's the charm, I guess.
Yeah. I guess I'm still 6-4 overall. I got 1-4 the last time I played.
Okay, sure.
But you were playing Jeskai Black then, which is, in my opinion, those heavy removal decks are the worst matchups for you, even though Nissa helps a lot, and it's possible I would have done better in that video had I drawn more Nissas. But you really just have Nissa Hangerback, and everything else they're able to deal with pretty easily.
And I had Reflector Mage, too.
Yeah. And at that point, Hardened Scales becomes a bit of a liability, because if they're able to just kill your creature regardless of the size and the synergies you present, then you're just lowering your threat density to have this card that doesn't do enough. And so you really just have to bum rush them, and again, like the Endless Ones really help with that, and the Den Protector just isn't enough. It might seem like you want Den Protector in a matchup like that because it helps you get some card advantage and grind a little bit, but you literally cannot grind against Jeskai Black.
Right.
They have Painful Truce and Treasure Cruise. You're just not going to draw more cards than them.
Yeah, definitely the strength of that deck is just vomiting your hand on the board, and eventually the 4th or 5th thing that you play is going to be large.
Yeah, and it just needs to stay alive for 2, maybe 3 turns, and then they're dead.
Yep. Yeah, the standard format's awesome. You can just do whatever you want, which is great.
Yeah. And then Majors literally does whatever he wants.
I do just do whatever I want.
I don't know, what is he going to do next?
Magic's fun, man.
You're going to cast you're going to play a mid-range Eldrazi deck that plays World Breaker, but it's not a ramp deck.
Oh, yeah, I got that one on the list. I call it Teamer 7s. You think I'm joking. I'm not joking.
I am honestly not sure if he's joking.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
I'm leaning to believe him. But
yeah, I could give you the deck list right now.
He could be stone-facing me right now. I really don't know. We unfortunately do not have an SCG Tour stop this weekend. Taking a
just
week
take the
off.
week off. It's not bad.
Sometimes you need a break.
Relax.
Everybody needs to stay home on the weekend and actually. What do people do on weekends? I don't know anymore.
I have no idea. This is what I do.
Exactly. So whatever you guys do other than watching coverage, you can take a break and do that, whatever it is. It's getting warmer. Go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go outside. That's it.
We
figured it out. Go outside, please.
Winter's leaving.
Have a picnic. Take a bike ride. If you live in Florida, you can go to the beach.
Yes, because beaches only exist in Florida. That's why people go to Florida.
It's still not warm enough to go to the beach anywhere else.
Yeah, that's probably true. But we're gonna be we're savages. We're gonna go to GP Detroit.
We might be driving.
We are.
It's gonna.
Just can't get away from it, man.
It's gonna be a long drive. I'm gonna have
Magic's great.
I'm gonna load up the Kindle.
I took the last weekend off, so I got to go to the Modern GP this weekend.
Yep. So we will be there. If you guys are in the area, you can come out to that. And next week, another week off from the SCG Tour, but that is
technically.
Yeah. But that is because Star City Games is hosting Grand Prix Washington, D.C., which is the team limited format, which is always a good time.
Just the most fun format of all time, in my opinion. Team events are great. The camaraderie, you get to actually interact with your teammates during the matches. You don't have to tell your bad beat story, when you're outside smoking, because you can tell the bad beat story because it happened to you right next to you.
Yeah, it's really great. And so you guys can come out to that. And in preparation for that, we have some super sweet content planned for next week.
Yeah, so the premium guys and us, the select folks, are going to be joining forces, never before seen, I don't think. Maybe. That might be a lie.
Not seen in at least a very long time.
At least a very long time. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a team sealed deck construction video next week. It'll be going up progressively throughout the week, I believe.
Yes.
So that should be a lot of fun.
You will be teaming with
Tom and Todd, which is my official team for the Grand Prix.
What a team. And I will be teaming with Bardley Narson and Gerald Thompson. And we're going to build a pool. Both teams are going to build the same pool.
And then we're going to eventually compare the two teams' pools and how we decided to build them and talk about it over the course of the video series. But something we've never done before. Hopefully it turns out great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the build portion of Team Sealed is far and away the most challenging part. It is really, truly very difficult. They give you like an hour or something, some ridiculous amount of time that you think, oh yeah, I'm going to be done like with time to spare.
Right.
I can go get a drink of water.
It just doesn't work out that way.
No, you're literally always there with 10 seconds on the clock scrambling to write out your deck list.
Yeah.
And wondering, you will look over at one point and none of your decks are built. And there's 5 minutes left and you just have no idea where the time went. It's hard.
It is tough. It's stressful, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And check out those videos and then join us at the Grand Prix in Washington, D.C. But that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, guys.